During the break, we're talking about books, and you like to hold a book?
First of all, I like the smell of a library, with the paper books, yes. And so I like to have a regular book, not an e-book or whatever they call them now. Is that what the term is?
E-book,
or
yeah, I guess.
Cassette, like a Kindle or whatever.
Yeah.
Or audiobooks are okay if I'm in the car, but I like a book.
Yeah, you like to sit and do the, turn the page. We can do that with a Kindle. You can turn the page.
Same. And the library's special. So.
We want to introduce the children's library. No, what is your title?
Children's librarian.
Children's library. I got it right. We have Debrah Edmonds with us today. Thank you so much for being here. And you, I don't even like to say you work at the library, but you facilitate over there at the Donald W. Reynolds Library, and you deal with strictly the children's part of the operation, and they're downstairs. Keep them downstairs. Kids go downstairs because they can go up and down the stairs. Us older people can't do that.
Well, we don't have to be as quiet downstairs either. We are a fun library, we're an active library, and a learning library.
Okay.
And what you were saying about wanting to hold a book and turn the pages, that's exactly what this 1,000-book program is about. So a nice segue in that it's a commitment program really for the parents, not the kids. Because the kids who are under kindergarten level are not able to read for themselves.
Right.
So it's a commitment program for the parents to commit to read 1,000 books aloud to their children before they reach kindergarten. And research tells us that they have to hear at least 1,000 stories to be ready to learn to read. This program does not teach them to read. It gets them prepared to learn to read. Believe it or not, there are children who come to school who, in fact, 35%, according to the Carnegie Foundation, come to school with such a lack of skills and motivation to be ready to learn that they are not successful.
So you're saying that just from the simple audible voice telling the story allows that child to learn from that?
Not just the voice, but the actual book, knowing that in English we read front to back, top to bottom, left to right. And when you have a child in your lap or beside you and you're opening the book, they see that. After you've done it a few times, you can give a child a book and without even thinking, they'll turn it right side up.
Wow.
And they will start looking. Chewing on a book for a baby is a pre-reading skill. Now,
chewing on a
book, it is, they're becoming familiar with their world. And reading is a part of our world, and not just for English and not just for reading and enjoying a book. Every subject they have. Kelly had problems reading. She would have prospered in this program. So much would have been available to her if she had heard the 1,000 books. I know Kelly, I know that she was not in a situation where
we didn't get really deep into
had the 1,000 books before kindergarten. And you keep saying, sounds like a lot of books.
Yeah.
Between a child's birth and his 5th birthday, there's 1,826 nights. More than enough time to read a book. If you read 10 books a week for 2 years, and these are children's books. We're talking 2 to 5 minutes. 10 books each week for 2 years, you will have read 1,040 books. You can do the program in 2 weeks. In 2 years.
I know both of my boys, we would read to them every night. And we didn't have a library of 1,000 books, but they were just as happy to read that book over and over again. We would rotate some of those.
That counts. any book that is read to them, no matter how many times, repetition is a wonderful learning tool. And the child gets something different out of it every time.
Yeah. And if you tell it wrong anywhere along the way,
They'll know it.
yes, and I would do that sometimes.
Absolutely. And one of the stumbling blocks, I guess maybe, that I've run into with some parents, they'll say, well, I'm not a good reader. Again, these are children's books. They're written on a child's level. Anyone
Yeah.
who can read at all, even Kelly, who said she was on a 3rd grade level, she could have read those books aloud
Yeah.
to her son.
Well, you know, I think too, having the parents read the book or the caregiver, whoever, that shows an interest in reading.
The modeling of reading is
Yes.
so important.
And I think, because I think back hearing people say, well, I don't like to read, and then when that's reinforced to the kids, my mom or dad doesn't like to read, so.
Right,
Yeah.
reading's
So
not
just
important in my family, in my home. It is important for the most successful children are the ones who have print matter in their house. Even dad reading the newspaper every morning, mom reading magazines. It doesn't have to be Moby Dick. Any reading, the back of the cereal box. Reading is reading. If the child sees you reading, just having paper and crayons and pencils out for the child to do the scribbling, the drawing, that's pre-reading. Being proud of it and putting it on the refrigerator. That's a success story for that child. So all of that is so important before they are ready to actually learn the skills of reading. Now, kids' statistics show us over and over and over again, if a child is not reading on level at the end of 1st grade, he will still be behind at the end of 4th grade. And then behind and behind.
Yeah.
And a lot of these students are the ones who end up being the class clown, the dropout, the prisoner. And it's a whole lot easier. I taught 8th grade for 28 years in Mountain Home. When I got a poor reader in 8th grade, it was a whole lot easier for them to say, I'm not going to do it, rather than I can't do it.
Yeah.
The self-esteem, the stigma is there. You have to get the child early. It's never too early to read. I believe in reading to the child before birth. It can be too late to read to them.
And it's not just reading, I mean, it's the whole reading comprehension and skills that they will use as adults,
Right.
that not just reading what's written. It's the other.
Absolutely. And another statistic I want to point out that has to do with Mountain Home is that last year, about 25% of our 1st graders were not reading on level at the end of 1st grade. Now, we can't blame the teachers for that. They only have them for a few minutes a day in reading and a few months a year. They have to be ready to learn to read when they get there. Those 25% were not ready, and there's just so much individual attention. The Literacy Council does come to the schools and do tutoring with the kids and our listeners, that the kids can practice and read to them, but they've missed 5 years at home. You have to use that time at home.
Yeah, and I'm sure the parents don't know that could potentially be a learning disability.
Right.
Waiting to happen.
So how do they sign up? Or
Yeah.
what's the
Sign
process?
up. They do have to have a Baxter County Library card, but there's no charge for that. And there's no charge for the program. Actually, we had a mini golf tournament, or not tournament, event earlier this year.
Yeah, I heard about that. Inside the library.
Inside
Yes.
the library. We're going to do it again. But this first year, they put all of the money from that program into this.
Good.
So we are set up to sustain the program for 5 years for up to 400 children.
You going to have enough books?
Well, you can read the same book over and over
Right,
again,
yeah,
but
yeah.
we do have enough books.
Yeah, you have plenty of
Yes,
selection.
we are prepared for that totally. They sign up, and then they get a binder that's going to look like this.
Yeah.
And We give them the pages for the first 100 books to record. After they do that, they come in, they get a sticker for success. They get a sticker in their binder and one to wear. And then we give them the pages for the second 100 books. And we continue doing that. There are a few incentives along the way. This book they get for when they come in to get
Carry
the
bag,
second.
Oh, wow.
And so, yes, they want to put books in their
Sure they
book
do.
bag
Sure
to
they do.
check out. So we're setting up good skills for library users also with this. They're getting the parents into, but we know if we're going to have good readers as adults, we have to have good readers as children.
Now, do you have numerous copies of Green Eggs and Ham?
Yes, we do.
Okay, just wanted, because that was our favorite book in the
And
house.
you can put it on hold. Our favorite was the monster at the end of that book.
Yeah, I've read that one too, yeah.
So, and every child has a favorite if they're read to, if they're allowed to. Reading is one thing that's not intuitive in any way. You can watch someone dance, you can dance. You can watch someone juggle, you can even build parts of a house by watching someone.
sure you can.
You cannot watch someone read and learn how to read. We have to go through the steps, and if they're going to be successful in life, they need the 1,000 books before kindergarten. They need those 1,000 stories so they can be successful in school.
Is there a start or cutoff date on this program?
Absolutely not. Now, this Saturday, we're having a huge concert with Kinder Songs from Little Rock that they're going to have us all up singing and dancing and getting us started, and that's going to be our big roll-off.
Yeah.
But the library has committed to doing this as an ongoing program forever.
Good.
Forever.
Good.
Sign up anytime.
Good.
At birth.
At
or
birth.
before.
Can they,
before
I
you
was
can
going
do
to say,
that.
can they sign up before birth to where?
Well, they have to have a library card, so they really have to wait until their birth
child
date
has
because it
okay.
goes on the library
Yeah,
card.
that's a good point.
But yes, they can have all of the information and sign up at birth and get started on it. Don't
started.
lose a day. Parents, please, don't lose
Yeah.
a day.
Yeah, it's easy. It's really easy. Deborah, thanks so much for being here.
Oh,
And we'll
thank
have you
you.
back. We have Kim Crochaner here. We did a Skype interview with her a couple weeks ago, or last week, I think, about something that's going on at the library. We'll be doing that quite a bit more. And the 1,000 book Before Kindergarten is going on right now at the Donald W. Reynolds Library.
wonderful.
If anyone has something that they want to call you and talk to you about, can they do that?
They
Phone number.
absolutely can. 580-0910 is my direct line, or www.baxlib.org, and we'll have all the answers or find a way to get them.
Okay. Thanks, Deborah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Up next, we have Christy Kern, and she's here to talk about a digital photo contest at ASUMH and other stuff that's going on. I'm sure she has a plethora
sure
of
she
things,
has a
activity.
plethora.
She does.
Plethora.
A lot of things happening at the shed, and we'll be talking to her in just a minute or two. Stay with us.